What's up guys, it's Jordan from Blackwater, Japan, and today we're going to be trying to install an SC300 handbrake with the Heat Lightning Speed Shop handbrake installation kit. So come over here and you'll see we got the SC300, SC400 tan e-brake with the cable that comes with it. Obviously you're going to need that. This is the Heat Lightning kit. It comes with this bracket here that mounts on the trans tunnel. This part mounts to the actual handbrake. Here are the bolts that they supply, 2 bolts and a washer, and then this little extension rod. So first thing I'm going to do is just go in the car and start taking the interior apart. I already took out the foot brake pedal a long time ago, but I did leave the cable like tucked under the carpet, so that's what I'm going to have to remove today. But I'm going to start by just taking the seat out. You might not have to take the seat out, but it's probably going to be a lot easier, and I have a bucket seat, so it's literally just going to be 4 14mm bolts, and then we'll start pulling the center console apart. Should be looking pretty dope with the handbrake there. And since we want to 5-speed swap the car, this is going to help us in the future make it a lot simpler to drift and clutch kick and do all that sort of fun stuff. So let's get into it. So now that we've got the seat out, I'm going to pop up this little shift lock right here. And we're going to start by taking the center console out. And to do that, I'm going to need to pop the shift lock up, push this down here, and put it into neutral. I believe that's neutral. And then we'll slide this guy down, and you'll see 2 screws. Pull this armrest up, take the 2 screws out. Don't lose those, put those over here. Should slide off, and you got your shifter. Okay, then I think this has to come out first. Ooh, lots of change in here. Oh, that's lots of change in here. Okay, this comes out. Plug. Out over that. Then I got a plug there, and a plug here. Okay. And then we got that guy. Now we got a couple screws. So I see one right here. And then this little guy should come up. There we go, like so. And we'll take our screws out. 2 more screws. Okay, so that comes out. After you take those 2 screws out, that comes out. And then I also forgot these 2 up here. Yeah, like that. But you know what? I bet I need to pop out this little sig ladder, because the sig ladder back here probably got a plug to it. I had to just pull out this little rear vent and the sig lighter, and then there's going to be 2 little clips down there. I'm just going to quickly unplug those, and then everything as far as the center console goes should come right off. Cool, got that off. Now it looks like we're going to have to take these vents out of the way to get down here and access the bread and butter where the bracket mounts to, which is down under here, and then also to access where the cable goes. And I think there's an airbag ECU right here that we're gonna have to move or do something with. I'll have to look at the instructions one more time. So these 2 screws don't need to come out, but you just need to pull the carpet like up and over that. This little tab, it kind of holds it in. So those don't have to come out, but the carpet just comes up and over. And then you take these 2 screws out, and then after you get that screw and everything, the vent's loose, but you got this bracket going over it. So there's 2 10 mils, one here and one on the other side. I can see how that's kind of a pain, being that the seat's in the way. But if you have like a nice flexible ratcheting wrench like this one, it should be no trouble at all. Okay, so we got that vent off, and yeah, pretty gross under here. The vent was pretty gross too. Definitely got some change. Gonna take that to the laundromat, that's for sure. So you can see here, this is the cable. It's running down that way to where it would be the stock foot brake. but I already have that disconnected, but I just have the cable like wrapped around here somewhere. So it looks like there's Velcro right here, so you can get that guy and, whoops, un-Velcro that, and pull the carpet down a little bit. Looks like there's a 10 mil holding the cable to the chassis right there, and then another one right there. And then you're definitely gonna have to at least remove this airbag ECU, at least for now, to get under there and start to be able to play with the cable. So I probably am just gonna remove that ECU and not put it back. It's probably very easy to just put back in. The instructions said you could, but I'm dumb and I'm lazy and I don't want to. So that's what I'm gonna do. And this is my car, not your car. So if you want to do that to your car, you can put it right on back. But since I don't want to do that to my car, I am not going to. And yeah, so I'm looking at a bunch of other crap here, and there's just so much like little boxes and relays and stuff to do with this auto trans. I can't wait to get this junk out of here and put the manual trans swap in. So that'll be good. But yeah, so next step is I'm gonna remove the little bracket. Goes right there for that guy, and remove that one, and then start taking this airbag box out. Okay, so I was looking here and I was following the cable down, and there's actually so many freaking 10 mils that go all the way down, and I'm gonna remove all that crap because it turns out I just tucked mine up here. My fucking old cable or whatever is just tucked up here somewhere. So I need to take that off, and I'm taking all these out because I'm completely removing that. But to get to this point, it was really easy. All I did was pull up the door sill trim, and then there's a little vent right there that you pull, and then you can seriously, as long as your seat's out, you can just wiggle this carpet out from under here and down under the pedals, and you're fine. Okay, I just thought this was funny. When you're like 5 to 10 minutes into an install that you thought would take like a total of like 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, that's this. No, but seriously, it's not that bad. Like, I just need to take this old line out and I'll be fine. Oh, no need to worry, baby. That's just my parking brake cable. Okay, so this is where I'm at right now. I got this little box here for the shift control, which is basically like the computer that tells it to shift out of park when you put your foot on the brake. So there was a big honky bracket right here for this that I didn't like sitting there. So, and it's a part of this automatic bracket, so I cut it off. I don't want that there. You might not have to do that. And then this is kind of how the bracket's gonna sit. Kind of like this. Basically what I need to do next is go under the car and start taking apart the underneath. So I've got to get the car up in the air. Might do that tomorrow though, because it is starting to get late in the day and I'm getting hungry. So probably see me tomorrow. As I'm gonna be able to get it. I think I can fit under there. Let's hope, huh? Alright, I'm freaking under the car now. It's first things first, I'm gonna take this heat shield off. And it looks like it's just a couple of 10 mils along here. So I'm gonna work on doing that real quick. And then we'll work on getting up there where the cable's at. Alright, we got this heat shield out. And that's definitely not going back in. So now we're just gonna take the two 14mm bolts out for the drive shaft mount, and that should give us enough room to get to work. Oh, and I did end up taking off this side skirt. Okay guys, it's extremely hard to film under here But basically I got those two 14 mils out for the drive shaft. And then like, dude, looking at this thing is so strange. Like, it's got this like little half moon. I've never seen an e-brake setup quite like this. And then it's got this extension rod that runs all the way over to the cable there. And so I gotta look at the instructions one more time to make sure I take off what I need to take off. I know I have to pull that clip and keep that clip, so I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we'll continue working on it. Holy shit. Okay, if this still feels tight to you, mine was hella tight right here, so I had to fucking yank it back and forth. But look at that. The fucking cable is out of this bitch. Look at that shit, man. Oh my goodness, dude. Yankee, 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 Yankee. When she's giving you the good yank. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how this system worked really fast. So this is held up in the car by these two 12 mil bolts. So you have to leave these on first, and then there is this little pin. Cable goes in here like so, but on the other side goes through this pin right here, and then there's just a little cotter pin. So when you're underneath, you're going to pull this cotter pin, push this pin out, and then the cable will be free. Break these loose, take the freaking spring off, and then you're going to keep that spring, and you're going to keep these two pins, and then it's got the two 12 mils up here to hold the bracket off, and then your whole freaking 12-foot cable comes out. This thing's long as hell, dude. This thing's seriously so long, it's insane. But all right, cool. You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Okay, sorry, I had to. Okay, so now that I got the cable out, I'm gonna focus on getting the bracket inside the car. So basically all I did was I took out those 4 bolts that hold this little auto trans bracket to the car, and that's exactly where these bolt up. Basically, I just went through my bolt box and found a couple random ass bolts that are a little bit longer than the stock ones, because the stock ones are too short to put the bracket and the trans thingy in. So I'm gonna start trying to get this guy in, and then once I get this in, I'll start working on getting the actual cable fed down in there and then connected to this, and we'll be getting going here. Got the brackets in there, looking pretty nice, really freaking solid, not going anywhere. And the only issue I see is that it does definitely press down on this, so I took it off this little thread, this little wiring harness. I took the plastic off this thread. You can modify this plastic if you want to, but I just shoved it down and it's working just fine. It is touching the bracket though, there's no lie about that. But it still can move on its own, and it doesn't need to move, so it is what it is. So now we have our e-brake, and we could start to mount it here. Before we feed this cable through the hole, we're going to start to use the hardware that Heat Lightning gave us. So we got 2 bolts that hold the e-brake to the mount, and then a washer that's going to go on the end of the cable on the inside of the car on this side. So we're going to start with that first. We're going to slide this washer over the end of the cable. Like so. On the end like that, and then you could slide this through the car like that. Gonna kind of have to force it like this. Get these big bolts started. I'm just gonna get them like hand tight, nothing crazy right now, because I'm gonna want to adjust the e-brake probably. So nice. So now you're finally starting to get the idea as to what this is going to look like. Already got my drift button installed. This is going to be awesome, dude. Nice, dude. It's going to be sweet. You got that clip in there. That was kind of a pain because I had to have someone on the other side to kind of push the cable flat from the inside, and then I could slip that clip on over the cable. It's kind of hard because the clip is a little bit bigger than the actual cable itself, so it doesn't really grab it very like nicely. It grabs it a little loose, so it's hard to tell if it's really on there. So I kind of took it off and put it on a couple times, but I think it's pretty tight as it's going to get. And then I put the little black adapter rod through. That part was kind of hard to get the cable to twist into it, and then I slid this guy on the 2-to-1 back here. You can barely freaking see it.
And then now all I need to do is tighten this bolt and get this where I want it. At least tighten it enough to put the cable or the spring back on. This guy needs to go back on. And then we'll tighten it up and adjust. And then we'll basically have a working handbrake. Okay, so I got everything tightened below, except for I need to tighten up the drive shaft mount. The car's in neutral right now. So, wheel spins. Everything's tight. So as I pull this e-brake, now it does not spin. So pretty sick. I'm definitely stoked on that. Definitely is a dope, cool little install for this little kit here. I really want to give a big shout out to Heat Lightning for making this simple little bracket and the little attachment that goes to the 2-to-1, because that's obviously dope. Not something that most of us could fab ourselves, but I got my e-brake mounted in the furthest back position. You can mount this however you want because these are slotted right here, but I chose to mount it as far back just because I felt like if it was a little far forward, it could interfere with something over here. I also went and tightened up this 10 mil here, these two 10 mils. That pulls the cable up tighter through the actual handle itself. And it does look like you can also install the airbag ECU if you want to. Like I said before, I'm not doing that, so I don't really care, but it looks like you'll just have to figure out what you want to do with this mount here, because that looks like where the cable is kind of in the way there. I'm slowly putting this guy back in and just kind of seeing how everything's going to line up. I'm trying to see where exactly I need to trim my carpet, so I think I'm just going to make a nice little slice here and a slice here, and then just kind of trim just a little bit out for now, because honestly most of this boot will cover a lot of that, so you won't see it, but I just need it to tuck under the center console here. Got everything put away. Look at that clearance, dude. Freaking solid. And I didn't even have to cut off any of the carpet. All I did is just make a slit here and a slit here and tucked everything up and behind. And then I got this finishing touch. Let's slide this guy on. Nice. Slides like right over. I think it needs to go back a little bit. Something like that. But yeah, you get the idea. Oh, can't forget the Vertex wheel. I just got to put the seat in, but... Ooh! Yeah, baby. Pretty soon we're getting rid of this ugly, atrocious knob of shifting sorts. Get this guy out of the way. Here's a little sneak peek. Oh my god, don't worry about that clutch placement. I'll fix it later. But anyways, got the handbrake in. So I'm going to go over a few things that I didn't end up putting back. But honestly, everything fits great. I got my vents in, my ashtray, my center console's all put together. You know, my shifter's all there, everything. So, still got my cup holders. I bet you some of you guys are jealous about that. But anyways, I'm hyped. Well, I think it's looking pretty fire. Everything's back together. Pretty much went as smooth as I could ask for. Didn't run into any real issues. I am hyped. So real quick, this is what didn't go back in the car. Basically, if you still have the foot brake pedal, which I didn't, I had already taken it out, that's going to be out. Not putting that back in. Obviously the cable, and then I took off the heat shield, didn't put it back. This is for the stock 2-to-1 parking brake cable thing. And then this is one of the brackets underneath the center console. I didn't end up putting this back. This holds like part of the cable in place at one spot, and then holds down the vent, and I think that's it, but I ended up not putting it back. You can if you want. And then I also didn't put the airbag ECU back. Also, you can definitely fit this. You might just have to like trim this little corner piece. Otherwise, this thing went solid. So when we look at it, looking sweet. And then hopefully the next time you guys see this car, we will have a 5-speed swap in it. Already got the trans and everything ready to go. I just need to fix the shifter housing. It's over there. I need to fix it a little bit. And I need to fix this ugly clutch pedal placement because I didn't really finish that. Started but didn't finish. So anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Definitely gonna have a lot more Lexus content. GS, ES, SC, basically all that stuff's gonna be on my channel. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm gonna wrap this stuff up right now. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.